But El Nino is also blamed for other severe weather conditions. Richard Angwin explains.
The oceans make up more than 70% of the surface of planet Earth. Now, the oceans and the atmosphere are closely linked. Any changes in the ocean have a profound effect on what goes on in the atmosphere, which in turn affects the weather and the climate. Now, the biggest change of all, of course, is El Nino. So let's look at the Pacific Ocean. Well, usually the trade winds blow westwards across the Pacific, encouraging cold water to upwell along the coast of Peru and Chile. Meanwhile, very warm surface waters mass in the west near Indonesia. Now, this warm water is the breeding ground for typhoons across the Asia-Pacific. And the cold upwelling produces nutrient-rich water, which is great for fishing. But every few years, the trade winds weaken or even reverse. And then the warm water of the western Pacific migrates towards the east. And this really hits Peru's fishing industry. And it was the fishermen here who first recognized this effect, calling it El Nino, the little one, as it peaks around Christmas time and coinciding with the birth of the baby Jesus. The other effect is to allow typhoons to form further towards the east, giving them more time to gain energy over the oceans. Now you see them moving back. And this then allows them to become more frequent and more intense. Already 2015 is one of the most active typhoon seasons on record, with every sign it could turn out to be a record breaker. But the effects of El Nino extend well beyond the Pacific. During the last El Nino of 1997-98, severe weather conditions were experienced in many parts of the world, droughts to floods to heat waves. Now, no two El Ninos are the same, but not only is this the strongest El Nino since 1997, it's probably the strongest since we first became aware of this natural phenomenon back in the 1950s. All around the world, the El Nino is sure to make its presence felt in the months ahead.